Euromaidan is a peaceful protest of million people who want to live in society with respect of human rights, where police don't beat peaceful student demonstration, where you have a rights to fair trial, where no corruption exists, and where you have a fair rules of society and you are sure of the future of your kids. If we speak in general, Euromaidan is about the struggle of Ukrainians, of Ukrainian people for their democratic choice. Because all these things which I mentioned, it can be only in democracy. We have active participators on Maidan, approximately 2 million people. And 5 million people, it was infrastructure of Euromaidan. It's according to sociological survey. These people provide assistance, provide documentation, give money, give food, organize logistics, take medical care. So 5 million people. It's a huge community, I must admit. We couldn't be effective if we are alone. We couldn't achieve our goals if we are not supported by hundreds of efforts. And it's a pragmatic issue. And on another point, I provide documentation of war crimes in the Donbass now and spoke with different people who were hostages in the basement. And they told a different, very cruel kind of torture. But one of the most cruel, which also they mentioned, it was when they stay for months alone. And you understand that we are all human beings, we need relations, we need social trust, we need some interconnections.
How do you create those connections? How do you create a community?
The recipe is very simple, but it's very difficult to implement in practice, because people united when they have the one goal and they really want to achieve it, really. For example, a lot of people say, yes, it will be better to do this, but I have no time, I have a lot of work, and I think it will be difficult, or I think it's not achievable, or something like this. And I always ask, if you are hungry, you find a time, you find a method, and you start to act and obtain a need. So it's only the level of your real desire to achieve a goal. Euromaidan is a great example how people can unite it and can self-organize in very different initiatives and can express the best features which they has as a people. Before it, a lot of people live in ordinary life, have a job, have a family, and they even not expected from themselves such behavior. But in these dramatic times, they start to show solidarity, start to help other people, start to do very courage things. We have a problem with medical care of protesters who were beaten by police, because it was real dangerous for them to be in official hospitals. The doctors in these hospitals were instructed to call to police, and police go to the hospital, kidnapped participants, even they couldn't move, and bring them to detention, to court. And the people understood that they have to create a real network of hidden hospitals. When they start to ask people donate and to bring the equipment, they, for only one day, they collect everything what they need for such kind of operations. If they need some medicine or need some administrative tasks, everything was done by ordinary people. So it was some miracle. I represent civil initiative Euromaydan SOS, which was created in response of a brutal dispersals of peaceful student demonstration in Maidan. And during all Euromaidan time, we worked 24 hours a day to provide legal aid for people who suffered from persecutions in Kyiv and regions. And after Euromaidan, when Ukraine faced with new threats, with war which was started by Russian Federation with occupation of Crimea and hybrid war in Donbass, we provide documentation of political motivated persecutions in Crimea and war crime in the Donbass. And our lawyers go to detentions, to the court, to the place where people were captured, to the hospitals. And I think that our main role in the Euromaidan that we created so-called atmosphere of so-called safeness. What I mean, everybody know that it can be everything with them, and everybody can be arrested, can be tortured, even can be killed, and you couldn't stop it. But everybody was know for sure that if something happens, Euromaydan SOS don't leave you alone, and they will struggle for you, struggle for every measures, and help your family. And it's created such illusion of safeness. It's very important to organize peaceful protests, but we as Euromaydan SOS fulfill the function because it's very important to protect those who organize and participate in peaceful protests. We created this initiative of 30 of November 2013, several hours before the breakdown of peaceful demonstration occurred, and our participants of seminars, which we tried to organize that day, was shocked and want to do something. And we proposed to people, let's think how we as the human rights defenders can be effective in this situation. And we quickly understand that there is a lack of mechanism which can connect people who need law assistance and lawyers and advocates who can provide this law assistance. And we opened Facebook page, started our work on hotlines, and start to do this connection. As I remember, but I can be mistaken, that only for one day we have several thousands of followers. Super. And for us it was real fantastic, because before it we was rather passive in social networks, so it was our first experience and very successful. Okay. Other examples was connected with visit of General Secretary of Council of Europe, because we got information that he visited Kyiv in the last moment, and we have only 40 minutes before meeting with them, and we very quickly issued appeal, but on Ukrainian language, and we asked them to create a special investigative bodies what's going on Maidan. And I must admit that he did it. After that, he created the International Advisory Panel of Council of Europe, and she provided the work during Euromaidan and after. But it was on Ukrainian, and we haven't interpreter in our team to make translate it into English. And we put, you can imagine, we put the list of our appeal on Facebook page and ask people, we have 20 minutes. 20 minutes, can you help us? And it was fantastic, because in the comments people said, I will bring first chapter, I will bring second chapter, I will bring... And they managed to translate it, and we managed to print it and to run to these meetings and to ask General Assembly of Council of Europe to create this commission.
What do you think the world can learn from Ukraine?
Some experience and some values we can ingrain only after some events. I don't wish anybody in Canada or other countries go through the events which Ukraine go through, but I must admit that these events give us a chance to understand what's the real values in our lives. After Euromaidan, and we still, on the second year, have phenomena which we called energy of Euromaidan. It's energy of thousands of people who united in different horizontal initiatives. It's really fantastic because if we look what they did in different level, in the level of small villages, they provide state functions. They feed armies, they help IDPs, the people who had to leave their homes because of war. They take care of injured people, they provide documentation of war crimes, they lobby reforms, so they bring responsibility for their own shoulders. And I think that it's a great example how strong civil society can be. Is only one thing that I know for sure, that people who go through this very painful episode, who suffered a lot, because majority of us lose something during these events, during Maidan, during war, they are changed completely. They couldn't. They start to be active, and they couldn't now, okay, I will return to my previous time and to be passive as in past. It couldn't be, because this huge historical challenge, they woke up the human dignity of people.